welcome to practice. It's Jasmine here. Today we are doing a somatic movement practice that is going to help target the lower body, so lower back, hips, legs, knees, ankle joints today. Somatic yoga is a little bit different to, say, hatha yoga or yoga that you generally experience in most yoga studios. So hatha yoga is blended with somatic principles drawn from bodywork practices such as Alexander Technique, Hana Somatics, and Feldenkrais, just to name a handful. And then those principles are applied to hatha yoga poses. So unlike a hatha yoga pose where we might stay for 5 breaths or more, in somatic yoga, we touch the pose and then we come out. We touch the pose and then we come out. And that process of moving in and out, gives us an opportunity to explore different ranges of motion within the same movement, but also allows the brain to register what the muscles feel like in a contracted state, what they feel like in a relaxed state. And this information is really key for the brain to register what my muscles feel like when I'm contracted and tense. And often that state is unconscious as a perhaps result of compensation, carrying your bag on the same shoulder all the time, or a washing basket or a child, or protecting the body from an injury, and then we build in unconscious ways of holding. So this is a process of reprogramming and repatterning the muscles back to their natural state, which is ease and softness and relaxation. So we go on a journey. We do the movements and then we'll come into a resting position. We'll scan the body, and each time we complete a movement, that really obvious pause at the end of the movement, scanning and sensing, is what allows the body to strip back those layers of tension that we unconsciously build in. And I hope you'll feel at the end of the session this just state of reconnection and ease and well-being in your body. So let's start lying on the back, just getting as comfortable as you can. Now you'll see that I've placed a blanket over my yoga mat. Because we'll be on the ground for the whole time, that's just a nice way to build in a little bit more comfort. So come to lie on your back with your feet flat, knees pointing up. Rest the hands to the belly and just allow your shoulders to relax. And then just start to sink into your body, calling back all those pieces and parts of yourself that you've given out energetically, and connecting with others, with your work, with your family, just drawing your awareness back into your body. At any point during the practice, if you feel like taking a long breath in through the nose and then a longer, smoother breath out through the mouth, go ahead, and that's a lovely way just to help release tension from the body, the mind. And then just feeling your feet scanning through your body, from your feet to your ankles to your knees, thighs, hips, belly. As you do so, slow the breath down. When we slow the breath down, the mind also follows suit, slows down. Feel the space around your chest, upper back, across the shoulders, traveling down your arms to your wrists and hands. Back up from your fingertips to your shoulders. Back of the neck, making sure there's a lot of length there. And if you need to, you can have a very low pillow or folded blanket under the head. And then just allow any tension to melt from your face. If you're comfortable with your eyes closed, I suggest doing a lot of these movements with the eyes closed or very soft. The idea is to move from the external to the internal landscape of feeling and sensing and perceiving. So with your hands now, bring them a little lower to your hip bones. And just start to tilt your hips forward. So the hands are there just sensing the bones and the movement. And as you tilt your hips forward, notice how your lower back arches and moves away from the ground. Then reverse that movement and flatten the back to the ground as you tilt your hips towards you. A few rounds, rocking the hips forward and then back, flattening the lower back. And then you can add your breath in, so as you move your hips forward, arch the back and inhale. Notice how you feel that not only in your lower back but further up the spine. As you exhale, flatten the lower back to the ground and round the spine, and reverse, moving the hips forward. One more time back. And then just come to a neutral position with your hips. Go ahead and just sense the space underneath your lower back. You might have quite a lot of space. There might not be much space at all, but just notice, sense. And then with your hand on your left hip, lift your left hip away from the ground. And you might feel some contraction in the right side of your lower back. Lower the left hip down. 2 more times with the left hip as you lift the hip away from the ground. Just enough to feel muscles switch on. You might feel more load and work in your thigh, maybe even in the core, and lower it down. Last time. You can add the breath. Inhale, left hip lifts. Notice how your knee tracks forward a little. And then lower the left hip down. When you touch ground, completely relax. Take a breath. Feel into your right hip. 3 times, same as the left. Inhale, right hip lifts away from the ground. Notice where that targets for you. Could be in the glute muscle, the buttock. Exhale, back down. Inhale, right hip. Feel the pressure in the right foot. Exhale, down. Last time, right hip lifts. Notice how your head also moves a little with that movement. And then exhale down. So by this stage, you're probably noticing that somatic awareness is really about sensing and feeling into those subtleties of movement to really reconnect the brain back into the body, mind back into the body. So we've just done 4 movements, tilting the hips forward and back, and then lifting and lowering left and right side. We're going to bring that together and make a circle. And it might help for you to visualize or just imagine a clock, an analog clock on your belly with midday or 12 o'clock at the upper abdomen above the belly, 3 o'clock to the left hip, 6 o'clock to the base of the spine, and 9 o'clock to the right hip. So just start to tilt the hips so you're more focused on the 12 o'clock. And then roll into your left hip, 3 o'clock, but the right hip lifts. And then tuck the hips so the spine arches, touching the 6 o'clock with the base of the spine. Roll to your right hip, 3 o'clock, left hip lifts. And start to smooth that out so you're touching point to point to point to point, making a circle. And you might choose to move quite slowly. Just notice within that circle any parts of the movement that feel a little gritty or sticky. This is an amazing way to free up the hips and the pelvis. You often can get quite locked up because we do spend a lot of time these days sitting in one position for a longer time. And then when you feel ready, just naturally, gradually change that movement so you're now moving in the opposite direction. So now use the next few repetitions to focus. So just feel perhaps your knees moving from side to side as your hips circle. You might tune into the soft movement of your head. And just allow your breath to be spacious and soft within the movement. And then come back to center, pause, lengthen your legs out. Rest the hands down by the sides of your body. And then take a nice long breath in through your nostrils. And then out the mouth, long, smooth breath. Move your awareness down into the hip bones and feel that bowl of your pelvis, lower back, hips, and just notice what you notice here in this moment. Letting the whole body soften and just feel a wave of awareness spread through your body from your feet, up the legs, up the torso, all the way to the crown of your head. And then back down, sweeping down through the body, clearing away anything that's no longer serving and just allowing yourself to melt a little deeper towards the ground. And then go ahead and bend your knees up again, feet flat to the ground. This is a variation of a bridge pose with somatic awareness. So just have your hands resting down by the sides of your body. Start to lift the right hip away from the ground. When you can't lift your right hip anymore, bring the left hip up to meet it. Both hips are elevated, and then roll the right hip back down. Roll the lower back to the ground and then over to the left. Neutral. And then right hip lifts again. When you can't lift it any further, lift the left hip up to meet it. And like an elliptical wave, right hip comes back down, followed by the lower back and then the left hip. One more time, leading with the right. You can add breath, inhale. Left hip rises up to meet. Right hip comes down. Feel how the core has a gentle twist to it. Lower the back and then roll the left hip back down. Shuffle yourself back to center if you need to. And now start from the left, lifting the hip until you can't lift the left hip anymore. Right hip joins it. Left hip comes back down. Roll your lower back across until your right hip touches down as well. 2 more times. Lift, breathe in. Right hip meets it. Left hip comes down again. And then followed by the right. Just feel any senses of tingling or pain or tension in the lower back. Left hip lifts, and if that is your experience, then just don't move as high. Right hip joins. Follow down with the left, and then roll the back down. Take a good deep breath in. Feel the belly, and then let it out. Sigh out through the mouth. Go ahead and pick your knees up, hug your knees in towards the body, either wrapping around the backs of the thighs or the fronts of your knees. And just make some circles, so just rest your hands to your knees and let the hands be very soft. Let the legs do all the work. So you're circling both legs in the same direction. Maybe 3 times and then back in the other direction. Really feeling this sense of release across the lower back, tops of the buttocks and outer hips. And then bring your feet down again. Pause. Let your left knee open to the side. Now, if that's creating any pain in the groin, you can slide a prop like a blanket or a block underneath the outer thigh. And then draw your right knee in towards your body. Just point and flex the foot a few times. Again, I suggest keeping the eyes closed as much as you can to really feel internally what's going on. And then start to move your right knee over to the left. Start to straighten the leg as you lengthen the knee down, and then circle that right knee back up. And then repeat. So a couple of big circles into your right hip. Letting your head move with you as you feel the shift in the lower back and the tops of the hips. And then change directions, moving down, and then knee sweeps across to the left. Hug it in towards the center, out to the right, and then extend the leg down. 2 more circles like this. Just notice your breath, even though we're not linking the movement per se with breath. Just have that constant connection to your breath if possible at all times. Next time the knee comes to center, go ahead and wrap the arm around the knee, straighten your left leg, and then squeeze the right knee in a little higher or tighter. You can hold on to the left ankle as well, just as an extra brace. And then take your left hand to your left hip just to help stabilize the hip. Open the right knee a little higher and up towards the right armpit. And you might feel this gentle tug down the front of the left leg, maybe even up into the belly a little. Bring the knee back to center. Lift your left foot off the ground now and just hold it, hover it there for a few moments. Thinking of your belly, which is where your leg muscle actually attaches to the spine. So right about the height of your abdomen or belly button. And then have this awareness of connection from that center all the way down to through the inner thigh and to the knee. Turn the left toe out, externally rotate, turn it back to center, and then turn it to the right. Internally rotate the hip back to center. As you lower the knee, the left leg down, squeeze the right knee in a little more. One more time like that. This time as you lift your left foot off the ground a little, take your left hand behind the head, draw your chin to your chest, feel your core switch on, and then pull your left leg in like you're trying to hug your left leg in towards your body. And then as you lower your left leg down, release the head back to the ground and squeeze that right knee in even tighter. And then release the right leg, straighten it up, lower it down really slowly. If you can close your eyes for this, it might take 2 or 3 breaths or more to lower that right leg down. And then as the foot comes to the ground, just let your legs fall open to the sides, feet roll out. Take a nice deep breath in. Just feel into the new sensations that you're experiencing in your legs. Now coming to the left side. So bend up both knees. Let your right knee fall open. Remember, you can prop underneath it if you need to. And then hug your left knee into the body. Just feeling if your left hip feels different to your right. And then to create a little bit of space, and what we're doing when we move in this slow and focused way is we're bringing more awareness into the joint, which brings more of the joint fluid in, which helps to reduce inflammation. So start to open the knee out to the left, straighten the leg down. As you bend the knee up, move it over to the right, crossing through the center line, and then repeating. So often when you're feeling that kind of sense of, continue 2 more times, apologize, sense of heaviness or stagnation or tension in your body, it can just be a sign of inflammation in the joints. So moving the joints in a very slow and gentle, precise way, change directions, allows the inflammation to reduce. Everything we do in yoga is done for a reason. 2 more. And really, if we can have this understanding or knowledge that yoga is always and has always been intended as a healing modality. Next time the knee comes to center, hug the leg in. Straighten your right leg. Open the left knee a little higher. Take the right hand to the right hip. You're trying to draw your left knee up to your left armpit. Breathe into the sensation and then bring your knee back to center. Holding both hands around the left knee. Just point and flex that left foot a couple of times. And then lift your right heel off the ground, only a few centimeters. The higher you lift it, the easier it will be. We want to have a little bit of load. So now just start to feel your core has most likely switched on. Be aware of your belly button in particular, and where your leg muscle or the psoas muscle connects in around the belly button and then passes across the front of the thigh and down into the inner knee. So just lift and lower or gently hover your leg a few times, and then open the foot out to the right, externally rotating the hip, and then back through center and turn it to the left. Notice how much range you've got there. It might be very little or you might feel a lot. And then release the foot down as you hug that left knee even closer. Release the grip a little on the left knee. Take the right hand behind the head. And really this is just supporting the head, cradling the head, so you're not using your neck muscles too much. Your hand is supporting the head, the weight of the head. As you draw the torso up, lift the left leg up again and feel like you're drawing your leg in towards your body. So like you're shortening the body, and what we're doing is contracting the center of the body. So just feel that contraction and then slowly start to release your right leg down as you lower your head down. And right at the end of the movement, squeeze that left leg in even tighter. Great, release the left leg. Again, let both legs extend down. You might just like to rock your hips a little from side to side. Shuffle them, maybe up and down. Then again, just allow your feet to fall open, your arms to soften. As you take a really slow breath in and just become aware of your body. And more appropriately, really feel those newfound sensations around the thighs, around the hips, around the lower back. Just be curious. There's no right or wrong way. You're just observing and really coming to a point of understanding your body, your mind, and how you work, how you operate. Okay, our last movement will be a twist that helps to integrate upper and lower part of your body. So again, please bring your feet to bend the knees, feet flat, sorry. Take your arms wide to a T. And you can either have both legs open in a diamond shape, or you can bring your knees together. Take your right hand to your right shoulder and then start to move your knees to the left. Starting to slide your right hand across the torso and down the left arm. So reach beyond the left fingertips. Roll the forehead to the ground. And then reverse, I was going to say unpeel. Reverse the movement so the right hand slides back up. Cross the chest, knees come with you. Open the knees into a diamond shape. And then start to move in the opposite direction. Left hand to left shoulder, slide it across the chest, knees move to the right. Slide the left hand all the way beyond the right. Extend through the upper back, roll the forehead to the ground. Really open and broaden the upper back, and then reverse. You might like to thread breath in. Now inhale, left hand slides up and across the torso over to the left. Knees come with you. Open the knees into the diamond and then bring the right hand to the right shoulder. knees move to the left, slide the right hand down the left arm, roll the forehead to the ground, reach beyond the left fingertip, and then reverse, open, right arm to the left, knees open, diamond shape, or just bring them up if there's any tension in the hips. And then flow over to the right, left hand slides down beyond the right fingertips. And you might like to explore a different angle. So for one movement, you could bring your arm out at shoulder height. For the next movement, you might slide that top arm up diagonally just to get a different experience in your upper back. So see if you can move with breath and have this experience of moving meditation. Continue for 1 or 2 more repetitions each side. And then next time you touch center, just pause. Any readjustments you need to make with your clothing or your body. You can choose to just pause with your feet flat, knees bent for a moment. And then just go ahead and feel into the space below your lower back. So for me, my lower back now is touching the ground, whereas at the beginning there was a gap I could slide my hand under. So this is really just proving to me that through the simple movements we've just been doing, the lower back has released. So there's more space there, closer to the ground. So just coming to a resting position, so you can either keep the feet flat, knees bent, or you can extend your legs long. If you've got a pillow nearby, you might like to support the head. You have a bolster or some bigger pillows to place under your knees, that's also an option. And then just start to let go of even more tension. So we'll do 3 full breaths. As you inhale, bring the breath all the way down into the belly, expanding. Exhale if you choose to, out the mouth or the nose. And just let that be a very long, slow, full exhalation. Let the inhale rise naturally. Feel the belly expanding, the lower ribs. You might even feel that across the lower back. Exhale, long, smooth breath out. And each time you exhale, just feel a layer of tension drop down into the ground below you. Long breath in. Whole torso fills with breath, deep diaphragmatic breath. Long exhale either through the mouth or the nose, and feel yourself sink a little heavier, more weighted into the ground. Letting your belly relax now. Let your breath just soften, let go of any control. Allow the muscles around your eyes and temples and forehead to soften and ease. Making sure there's length and space at the back of your neck. Let that softness trickle down your shoulders, down your arms, to your hands, through your torso, hips, lower back, legs, down to your feet. And then just have this soft awareness of your whole body. Just this very welcoming, spacious, receptive awareness. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, just allow yourself to unfold, rejuvenate, rest. Please go ahead and continue to stay here and rest as long as you like. When you're ready, just slowly bring yourself back, rolling to your side and then eventually coming up to seat, and just taking a few moments before you move out into your day to really feel and sense the changes that you've created in your body as a result of this focused practice. Take your time, be gentle, and please drink a lot of water for the rest of the day. You've just given yourself a deep internal massage. I hope to see you again soon. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me.